Hey guys, you're listening to Drinks with Lisa, brought to you by Foodie. It's a real and raw discussion with Australian farmers, producers and small business owners. I've been lucky to have met with hundreds of these hardworking Aussies recently, and it's time to share their incredible journeys, challenges and achievements. My goal is to uncover ways in which we can become more mindful consumers and make an impact on the Australian economy, environment and its people. I invite you to grab a drink, sit back and enjoy as I introduce you to some very inspiring guests. Cheers! Welcome to my first ever Drinks with Lisa podcast. Today my guest is Priyanka Baruah, founder and owner of Cocoa Oven. Priyanka was born in India and has since lived and worked in the Middle East and Belgium before choosing to settle and live in Australia. With a degree in architecture and a very successful career in interior design behind her, she since quit her job and has started her own home bakery business. With a passion for baking and chocolate, she set upon a very exciting career change. Welcome to the show, Priyanka.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you for having me here and for this lovely intro.
It's really great to have you here. And how are you? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm being good considering everything happening around us, especially in Melbourne.
Yeah, you're currently in lockdown, aren't you?
Yeah, stage 4, not good. Yeah, I've been pretty okay, pretty well, and things have been surprisingly getting better in terms of the business as well.
That's great.
But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't lie, there've been really bad days and, personally, emotionally, business-wise, everything. But there's not been one moment where I've thought of, no, let's just shut shop and forget about this or anything, or even otherwise on a personal level. I think me and my husband, we've both been safe. I keep thinking of the fact that we are safe, our family is fine here and back in India as well. So
that's good.
Yeah, I just feel like we are in a far better position than a lot of other people in the world. So
yes,
I try to look at the positives and just.
That's a good way to be, and just
keep moving. Yeah.
Feeling very grateful too, I suppose, for the position we're both in. We're in lucky positions.
Exactly.
Oh, that's good. Well, it's really great to have you here on the show, and the show is Drinks with Lisa. So I need to ask you, what are you drinking today?
Okay, this is kind of strange, but I'm actually having a glass of cacao powder and hot water. I actually do this every morning. I don't have coffee in the mornings. And this is kind of on brand. I mean, I work with chocolate.
It is on brand. Hot cocoa. Hot cocoa and just water, no sugar.
It's not cocoa, it's cacao, like the raw organic cacao powder. Yeah, I actually started it a few months back for various health reasons. But it's got a lot of benefits, very high on antioxidants, etc. Anyway, I'm not going there, but
I want to know.
I started that as a practice.
To drink. What is the healthy chocolate, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is like possibly the purest form of chocolate you can have.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and I just have it with water, no sugar, nothing. And yeah, I want to cut down on caffeine and cut down on coffee, and that's how I kind of started this.
Oh, good for you. That sounds great. Well, I am drinking my organic chai. I've got a pot of chai because I'm a big fan, and that's infused with organic coconut milk. So yeah, we're getting our morning started. So I don't tend to drink much coffee either. So chai's my go-to. But I want to try this hot cacao. That sounds delicious.
Yeah, you should get the organic ones. The other ones wouldn't really do anything to you, but yeah, I've really seen the benefits after having it on a daily basis. In like a couple of months, I can see whatever change I wanted to see in myself.
Oh,
So
that's
it's good.
great. Well, I
Yeah.
want to learn a bit more about the nutritional value of that. Um,
Yeah.
Thank you for that. So, um, first of all, take me back to the days when you were an interior designer. How did you get into that position? What did you love about being an interior designer?
Wow. Nice. Lovely question. So uh, so I grew up in India, right? And um, any viewer who's Asian, Indian would probably relate to what I'm going to say. Um, Back in our places, there's this, or at least in the days when I was growing up, there was no we didn't have that much exposure or possibilities of having a career in a creative field.
Hmm.
So there was always the pressure of if you are there's a lot of pressure on performing well in academics in your school life, and then the thing is like you need to get into maybe an engineering course or do a medical degree, become a doctor, and if not then move on to commerce, or like the arts were possibly the at the end of the ladder kind of a thing, which is thankfully I think changing now. But anyway, so I did my science after 10th, and for the longest time I kept on saying that I would become a doctor. And by the time it came to actually apply for a medical universities, I started freaking out. I was like, no, this is not what I do. I don't want to keep studying all my life. You have to keep studying all your lives,
Yeah.
and this is not what I want to do. I was sort of very in a confused state of mind, I think. So I said, because I don't want to become a doctor, I'll apply to engineering colleges. And then I realized that you can do architecture as well in engineering colleges. It was really good. So anyhow, I got into a good college, and yeah, I did a 5 years course in architecture. And during my internship as a student, I was exposed to interior design as well, and that is what um, had a bigger draw for me. And
Mm-hmm.
I just, yeah, so after I finished my graduation, I joined a firm that was focused more on interiors. And that's it. I just enjoyed doing interiors and then the whole construction, the bigger construction projects.
Yeah, right.
And I just kept moving from there. Yeah.
And so
And
did
I
you,
loved every bit of being an interior designer. I loved um, everything about it. There was nothing wrong. I was not frustrated. Or, there's nothing wrong in that uh, phase of my career. And yeah, unlike a lot of people who say I was in an unfulfilling job or a career, it wasn't like that. I just
yes.
wanted to take a break because I hadn't for a longest time in my life. And that's how things kind of changed during
Yeah,
that break.
right. It's kind of nice to go for a career change without losing passion for that industry to start with.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
didn't quit because you hated it. You loved it, but you knew
yeah,
you needed a change of scene, which is
yeah,
totally understandable, and a lot of
yeah,
people do it in these days, or a lot of people probably want to do it but are freaking out that it's too hard, too scary. I'm going to start from the beginning again, potentially
yeah,
they've worked their way up a career ladder and having to take a big pay cut even to start from scratch. So
yeah. I
I can
agree.
understand that fear, but
Yeah.
so what went through your mind when you thought, I'm going to make this big change in my life?
So so like I said, I was taking a break. I think I've not taken a break since 2004. I was just continuously working one job to another, one country to another. I remember I moved from India to Middle East, and I literally had 3 days break between
Wow.
my job in India and the
Oh,
next job.
wow.
Like
That's a big
that
move.
was just packing up bags, leaving, and joining the next day.
Yeah.
So I've not had. I probably took a month break when I got married, and just a month here and there. And So that was the reason. I think somewhere there was mental exhaustion or whatever you call it. Um, and I just wanted to sit back and think of, okay, where is everything going in life?
Yeah.
And I did think I would actually start a business in home styling, but somehow I just I don't know, it was probably lack of an understanding of the business in here in Australia, because I had only worked for 2 years in Australia, and um, I don't know what it was. I just didn't do anything about it except for saying I'm going to start a styling business. I didn't do anything about it. Meanwhile, I was sitting at home, and I am a foodie. Me and my husband, we both love food, and I got more and more into cooking and baking and everything, and kind of yeah, I don't know. It was probably too much time on Instagram, watching food shows, whatever it was. I
Yeah.
kind of started, the shift started more towards food, and that's how I got into it. Um, it was very exciting in the beginning. It still is. I mean, but um, I never looked back. I was like all, full guns on, and I was like making lists and taking things off the list. And I was like, I have to do this. I have to brush up my skills in photography. I have to learn a bit about how social media marketing works and how this works and that, all kinds of thing. And I used to order desserts from brands that I could think of, and not just to understand how what works in the market,
Oh,
stuff
that's a
like that.
smart idea.
Yeah, and of course, I spoke to the council, health department, to their guidance on how to go about statutory requirements and stuff like that. And once I launched the business, I told myself, okay, this is X amount of money from my own savings that I'm going to use. I'm not doing very huge investments. I'm not starting a shop or a restaurant or cafe right now. Few equipments, a bit on packaging. It costs a bit, but I was ready to put that money in and see where it goes. And of course, in a couple of months, I was like, the reality hit me, and I was like, what am I doing? I'm just draining my savings, and
Yeah.
like the whole money part of it really got to me. Like, because okay, I just quit my job, and by then I had, it was more than 6, 7, 8 months since I left my job. It was almost a year.
Right.
And I was scared that, okay, should I go back to work? At some point, I thought maybe I should take up a job again, do this part time. All kinds of thoughts. I had real anxiety issues um, with that. I didn't think I would never make it. I just don't think I've made it yet.
You
But I
have. You're doing
did
amazing,
think,
by the way.
um, I still have a long way to go, Lisa, to say that I've arrived or anything, to make big statements. But
It's new.
yes, I had huge, yeah, I had huge worries about, going on continuously draining my savings and stuff like that. But
Of course.
yeah, but then I started seeing the change. I started seeing that when you consistently show up on social media, I went to a lot of networking events. I met a lot of people because I had no connections in terms of business in the industry or otherwise. I just had a small group of friends from my life before Cocoa Oven. It was very small, literally like a 20 to 30 people. That was my circle in Australia. That's it. Like,
Sure.
nobody else really knew much about me. And yeah, and I think I got a lot of support from other business owners, women mostly. Um, Whether it is in my field or in the events industry or otherwise. Like, I went to local networking groups. I got some support from the council as well in terms of mentoring and training, etc.
Yeah,
So
great.
it's just a culmination of a lot of things, my own efforts, and a lot of support, help from other business owners, I would say. Just in terms of, sometimes small tips, or sometimes they give you ideas, and maybe this is something you could look at. But the thing is, you just have to keep going. You just have to keep your focus, keep your belief on in yourself, what you're doing. Don't compromise on your values.
That's a
I think
good
that's
one.
a big one. Yeah.
And what values do you feel that you've brought into your business that you won't compromise on?
Um, I think the biggest is to understand that it is about my customer.
Yeah.
It's important because my business focuses on gifting primarily.
Uh-huh.
I mean, yes, it is food. People do buy for themselves, but I would say almost 80 to 90% of my sales are going towards gifts, towards others. There's emotion attached to it.
Yes.
So I take a lot of pride, and I take it really seriously when somebody, there's an emotion. It's for somebody's birthday, somebody's missing someone, whatever. So yeah, I make sure I go above and beyond to keep my customers happy, to deliver what I promise. And I also believe in what I call honest baking,
Okay.
being, how do I say, like honest to ingredients. Like I like to give, I think that's something which has also come from my background in design. We call it honest, like having honesty in your design. As like, don't just I use good ingredients.
Uh-huh.
I make sure try to use natural flavors. Not try to, I always use only natural. I do not use
Great.
artificial editors or flavors and stuff. So you get the real flavor of things,
Mm.
of the ingredients.
Okay.
Um, um, yeah, that is another thing I really stick to. I don't like using artificial flavoring
Right.
at all.
Because you do have an
I
interest
don't do
in
that.
nutrition as well.
Yeah.
What kind of
Um,
flavors do you use in your baking? Because your baking, for the listeners, is beautiful. It's very decorative. You can really tell that you've got a design eye as well. Beautiful little flowers and lovely
Thanks.
colors and shapes. And you mentioned you
Yeah,
studied photography as well for food photography. So
yeah,
what kind of natural flavors do you bring into what is essentially, desserts? You're talking beautiful brownies and chocolate.
yeah. So let me give you an example. Like, say I do a orange flavored brownie,
Uh-huh.
for example, or a berry flavored. I'm not going to use orange essence. I'm
Sure.
going to use real oranges, maybe dehydrate them for the decoration. I could use the zest, I could use their juice, things like that. I use berries a lot in my chocolates, and they go really well with chocolate as well. Um, so yeah, I try to use flowers, fruits, natural elements to decorate, and for flavors, yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah, they are beautiful. And what is your inspiration around what you create?
Um, I- Lots of things. I think you just as a creative person, I think any creative person would identify with that. You just get inspired by a lot of things around you, things in the nature. Sometimes it could be just textures that seem to work together, and then you try to see how that you could incorporate that into your food, colors. Um, and then, like I remember, I actually don't have it. I have a whiteboard, anyways. So I used to have this list of when I was initially planning on different toppings and colors. I used to have like, okay, green. What are the elements that I could pick up? I mean, obviously from nature, which are edible, which would work well together,
Oh, yeah.
and which would bring out that color. So be it pink or red. I try to do all those kind of things and think of ways to incorporate that in my food. Um, yeah, and that's the reason I'm saying there's still a lot more that I want to achieve, because working with natural ingredients is not easy in terms of making things work. It's also not it's a bit expensive, if I can say that. Yeah, so it takes time to develop, and yeah, and also make sure it works commercially. So yeah, I have big plans.
Yeah, of course. And you mentioned that you've had to do quite a bit of work in terms of learning what you can and cannot do in this industry, and probably adapting your kitchen to allow for a business to operate in there. What did you have to go through to set up what is effectively your home bakery?
Actually, thankfully, our kitchen wasn't, it was already kind of compliant in terms of the layout and the infrastructure that we already had in terms of dishwashing, sinks, storage, etc.
Yeah.
What I had to do was I had to sort out the storage such that all my business related food, especially storage, equipments, everything, kind of is separated from the rest of the household usage stuff. So yeah, that's about it. It wasn't very difficult for me because I am in what's called a class 3 registration, classification of food, in which I don't do desserts that involve fresh cream or cream cheese and things like that.
Right.
That's a higher level, which I want to get to at some point. But that would require, again, possibly a lot of more dedicated storage, or even a fridge. You might need another fridge. For now, I am doing good with just one fridge. I make sure I separate out, like my goods are on the higher shelves and home use things are at the bottom shelf. Yeah, but a class 3 you can manage with the basic things you have at home.
And so anyone can be a home baker and set up a commercial kitchen at home, so long as it's being compliant and approved by council, is that right? And does the council come out and inspect your premises?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, right.
In fact, I've had 2 inspections since November. December is when I started officially doing my business, but they did 2 inspections before. And after that, it's an annual inspection normally, unless you want to change your classification or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so, and this is great. So tell us where you want to take Cocoa Oven, if you're happy to reveal your secret for the future. Where do you want to take this?
It's like so I want to so there are 2 things, kind of 2 directions I am thinking of. It all depends on how things change in the world, to be honest. One direction I want to go in is completely into gift favors, like party favors, and in the events industry, both corporate and personal. But that is a huge question mark at the moment for obvious reasons. I mean, COVID and everything else. Another direction which has always been the idea from the beginning, to be honest, is to get into. That is the direction I'm going in anyways. But to be a really known household name among corporates, to get into corporate gifting and personal as well, but like doing hampers, which are filled with mostly handmade goods. they're going to be edible hampers. I'm not looking at getting in too many other things into the hamper,
Yeah.
but sweet hampers, really classy with some really good packaging. And I want to be doing like 100 hampers for one company at a time. But, yeah, those are big goals, but
Great.
yeah, that's the direction I want to go. Maybe have a good bottle of champagne in it, and
Nice.
maybe candles for some occasion. But yeah, but it's mostly gonna be things that are made in my kitchen.
Fantastic.
I'm hoping that I could expand into a commercial kitchen, maybe build my own separate kitchen in the house or something. Eventually, in say 3 years, 4 years from now, make that much money to be able to build my kitchen
Yeah.
as an extension to the house. Because obviously, I can't achieve that kind of goals with operating from a small home kitchen. You need
Sure. And no doubt
more
your
infrastructure
husband
for that.
your husband will be kicked out of the kitchen permanently otherwise.
He's already complaining. We are getting food to eat now. If we have too many orders, we have to order in and things like that. But yeah, I can't achieve the goals I have in my head with this kitchen for sure.
And so when you are baking, I find it hard when I'm baking or cooking anything to not eat everything as I'm cooking it. So by the end, when it's ready to come out of the oven, I've half eaten it. How do you control yourself? Do you find yourself making an extra
No,
brownie on the side for yourself and your
no.
husband? Does your husband get a
That
daily
happened a
brownie?
lot. Yeah, no. I think that happens just initially. That did happen a lot even before I started my business. But I think by the time I started my business, I had baked so much that like end of the day, it's just those 5, 6 items that you keep baking on a regular basis. Yeah, no, we don't really. I don't. Even my husband has stopped eating
Yeah.
much of what I make. Because
Sure.
I actually order things from other bakers now because I can't just keep eating my own things all the time. I don't feel like it.
Eating your
I mean,
profits
I
away.
shouldn't be saying that in this. I shouldn't be saying this out loud, but yeah, I don't want to keep eating my stuff all the time.
That's
Well,
probably a
everybody
good.
wants change. Yeah,
And
so
you said you
except
do
for
love.
like offcuts. Offcuts are things that we obviously eat still,
Yeah.
the sides, crumbs and leftover pieces and things like that. But yeah,
Oh, that's good then. So
yeah,
you are normal.
yeah,
You're human. That's good.
yeah, yeah.
And you mentioned you love cooking. You're a foodie. Your husband is too. What do you cook besides what's on your cocoa oven menu? What's your other favorite thing to cook?
I like to, just regular savory meals. A lot of Indian food. I cook more of Indian food.
Yeah.
My husband is the one who does other things. He loves fish and um, I think he's the one who does all the special cooking in the house for
Oh,
us.
nice.
I just do the regular curries and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm very, very boring when it comes to cooking for myself nowadays.
Doesn't sound boring at
But I
all.
think, but I think it's because I get so exhausted with things like working in the kitchen, and then again you have to cook your meals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to make it as simple and easy as I possibly can. Like
Yeah,
we
nice.
just do salads for dinner, and yeah, just grill some chicken.
That sounds
And on
very
weekends,
familiar.
I cook little elaborate, bit of elaborate Indian cooking happens on the weekends, on Sundays to be particular. Yeah, that's about it.
Well, yum.
Yeah.
If you weren't in lockdown, I'd probably try to get round there to enjoy.
I
A night
know.
at your house sounds divine. Now tell me, so you mentioned briefly in the beginning about located in Melbourne. Your city is currently locked down for I think another 4 weeks or so. What
Yeah,
was it like?
4 weeks.
You launched your business in December. I think you
Mhm.
went into lockdown around March or something. Um,
March. Yeah.
it's hard enough operating a business, let alone launching a business
Yeah.
during a pandemic. What went through your mind? What did you do to kind of continue at that point?
Oh my God. Yeah, so like I mentioned, I barely started seeing some traction. I had just about started seeing some traction in March. Like I literally had 3 or 4 orders, and I was like um, jumping, dancing around the house kind of before all this started. In Feb is when I had these inquiries coming in, and they were booked orders for party favors, which was great because I had done a lot of networking with the events industry people. I'd gone for a couple of events, and that had worked. But I think I had actually, yeah, I had delivered 1 or 2 bigger orders as well in Feb. And March, just after I had booked my biggest order yet, and I had ordered for the packaging as well, is when this news hit. And surprisingly, the client was very sweet. She actually she did not even ask for a refund. I was like all ready to give. I'm just a small business, and
Yeah.
I might as well just give the refund. But I was concerned because I already ordered the packaging and everything. And obviously, it was a birthday, and it didn't happen. And so yeah, I just gave her a voucher, and she's happy with that. But anyways, the thing is, so that hit, and I was like, okay, now what? And I have been working the last 6 months or so, 3 months into business, and I start seeing a little bit of orders coming in, and then this. Like, okay, what now? Like, where do I go? Where do I sell? What do I do? Then around that time is when I also happened to meet a very special friend of mine. Her name is Catherine, and she's a social media expert. And I did a course with her just around the time when COVID. I remember it was a 3 sessions course, and the first session we did face to face. After that, we had to move on to Zoom. It was that phase when everything was hitting.
Mm.
And I think that really helped me a lot because I had no clue what I was doing on social media. I didn't know how things work, nothing. I was just randomly posting on random days, random times. And whenever I felt like, or not felt like, whenever I had the opportunity to create some more content, I had no idea what kind of content to create, nothing. So that really helped me. And I just started being very consistent on social media, creating meaningful content. And also I started doing a weekly bakes kind of thing. And I realized that people were actually ordering. People I used to do release 2 or 3 flavors. I would say, okay, this week I'm going to bake these flavors. And it was a very localized thing because I was not offering delivery. I was offering shipping for anyone who wanted to get it shipped, but it was mostly local, around Mill Park, around like 10 kilometers around Mill Park. People were coming and buying, ordering stuff. So there's baby steps. It took off, and slowly people in the community started recognizing my name and my brand, and I just kept going from there. Lisa, it was very hard. It was scary because I was like, okay, I've spent all this money, and now fine, I am considered essential and I can operate, but nobody knows me.
Yeah.
Like, who knows who's in that house and she's making brownies? And like, how do I get my name out there? How do I get it there? So, but yeah, I think it was just a bit of bullheadedness was there in me somewhere. I was like, I'm not going to give up. I cannot give up. I don't have the luxury of giving up now. And I was in a, it was a time in the world when thinking that, okay, I think I'm just going to shut shop and look for a job, because that was not a great option either.
Yeah,
I
that's
was like, this
right.
is all I have. I have to make this work. And yeah, and things just kept on moving somehow. Easter was great. Easter was like my first big occasion, so to say, and uh, and just one thing led to the other, and then people started coming back. I now have a few repeat clients who order for themselves, for their
Fantastic.
families, which is great. So yeah, and
Well done.
slowly learning the ropes as I go. I think every almost every week, every day, there's something new I learn in terms of the business side of things, for sure. Apart from, you keep brushing your skills technically, that is there, but I think having no experience in running a business, I think I'm still learning, and every day is a new thing.
And you really have learnt so many new skills. When, you woke up one day thinking, I'm going to be a baker, did you actually think at that point in time, I'm going to have to learn to run a business, do my own social media, do photography, get out to all these
Mhm.
networking things, figure out packaging and distribution? There's such a huge gamut of skills and learnings, and this will go for every small business, not just
Yeah,
baking. And no doubt you can adapt and take these skills with you if one day you do decide to open your home styling business too. You've probably learnt some really valuable skills that are transferable,
I
would you say?
agree. Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't think I had the exact list of what I need to learn, but I did cover a lot of bases for sure.
Yeah.
I think what I didn't understand is that you could have all the photography skills, all the baking skills, everything. Um, the whole, how do I say, the whole method, or I don't even know if I have a method yet, but of reaching out and getting your name out there is what has taken time for me.
Mm.
And I sometimes wish I did a bit more research or understanding, or had learning about that. Might have helped in making things move faster. Um, but I think if you have the determination to do it, and if you focus, and if you have the belief in yourself, you can just take smaller risks, I guess, calculated risks. Um, yeah, I can always keep learning. Like I've now given myself this entire year to just be able to understand the various aspects of a business.
Mm.
And I'm really grateful that I have, I think I'm able to do more than what I actually thought I could, in terms of
That's
building my business. So, yeah,
that's excellent, and I think that's a really important learning, or even a piece of advice, is that to give yourself a year to figure it out and to find your feet in a way. That it is a new
yeah,
industry, it's a complete new career, there's so much to
exactly.
learn. And as you said, the environment keeps changing around us. What's going to happen with
Hmm.
events? Fingers crossed that
Yeah,
events industry picks up again this year, sooner that rather than later. But I think that's a really nice thing to say. And I've recently also started a business, but to give yourself a year is really nice, to be able to say, don't give up yet. My gosh, you're going to hit so many
yeah,
different roadblocks and interference, and things will change, and you're just going to have to catch what's being thrown at you and keep running.
yeah, yeah. I think so. Because everything takes. I mean, if I have to look back at my own career as a designer, I didn't just reach whatever stage I was at when I left.
Mm.
I went through 5 years course of a degree, I mean, there was 5 years of learning that I did. That is when, after that, is when I jumped into the field. And even then, you had to work your way up, doing all sorts of things and, learning different things in the field. But so how was it going to work so quick when you start a new business? It's not. I mean, if it does for someone, well, great. But I haven't come across someone who's seen success really quick, and everybody has to figure out things. So yeah, for me, this year is truly to understand what works for me, what doesn't work for me, and in which direction. I have some ideas of what direction I want to take my business in, but I want to have more clarity on that through this, through all the learnings that I get, and I think I will manage. I will survive the pandemic now.
Yeah, I'm sure you
So
will.
that if I've survived this far, I'm hoping I survive how much ever is left of it, and yeah, and I think
Absolutely.
that's definitely given me a lot of confidence and hope in myself and my business. Yeah.
Oh, that's really good. And what tips? So you've gone through a really inspiring career change. You're right in the middle of launching something amazing. Um, what tips would you give to somebody else who's perhaps on the fence or thinking, I want to, my passion really lies in a totally different area than what I'm currently working in? What tips would you give to somebody else who's in that same boat?
Um, have faith in yourself. Take the leap, but take calculated risks. There's no harm in going all in, but all in has a different meaning to everyone. And this I'm talking particularly in terms of investments in time and money, because end of the day, it's a business. It's not just a hobby. You have to put in money, and you have to be able to recover it. So be cautious of what you are putting in, and how much you think you can forego, because in the initial stages of your business there will be a period when you feel like there's nothing coming in. So are you ready for that? um, Understand who you are targeting in terms of your market. You cannot please everyone. You cannot be everyone's choice of spending their money. So be focused on that, and yeah, and just do it. Believe in yourself and do it. Do it with some sort of a plan. Like, don't run into it without any research or any thought or clarity behind, because you'll never have all the clarity you need. It is a learning process, but have some thought, some plan behind it.
Yeah, great. Good advice there. And and tell us now, how can people support you and your business Cocoa Oven? How can we support you?
Oh my God, you guys are already doing so much. I like, seriously, because I um I actually took I still pay for my domain, and I have been thinking of doing my website from since November or December, and it hasn't happened, and I don't see when it's gonna happen. But I could actually see, and I really mean this, Lisa, I can see a huge bump in my business since the time we have um, um, started the online store,
Great.
and I have you and Arthur to thank for that. And I think, because I had heard this from, I had received this advice from others, that just set up a small online, whatever it is, be it on Wix or whatever, just set up an online store, and it really helps. But I was always on the fence on, no, I don't know, I don't know what to do, or where to go, a lot of questions, and it was just something that just kept on going to the end of the list forever. It still is. I still want to do my own website and my shop. I don't know when that is going to happen, but I just started. I know we set up the shop a few months back, but I hadn't really spoken about it. I hadn't really given out the link too much. And now when I started doing that and cross promoting it, and I just literally throw out the link everywhere I can, and I've seen that it's actually started working.
That's
So
fantastic.
yeah, like a friend told me that you have to sell. Unless you sell, people are not going to buy. Like,
Yeah.
okay, that's a good point, because it's one thing to just keep showing up good pictures and say, talking nice things about your business. But at some point, you also have to sell. You have to maintain a balance of that. And having that online store has really helped me with that part of the business, and which is the biggest part, to be honest.
Well,
To
that
get
gives me
say,
goosebumps. I'm really happy to hear that.
yeah. So I've been just literally shoving that link to anyone and everyone. No, this is
Fantastic.
my link. You can look it up, and I think it helps also with SEO and um, the algorithms or whatever things that I don't understand yet. Um,
So
yeah, I
you,
think
so you,
I'm already like, I really feel indebted to you guys for all this, and I just keep doing whatever you're doing, and it's working for me. And I think
oh,
it's
thank
working
you.
for a lot of other people, and you're doing a great job at it. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
really great to hear because we're still quite new at this too. We've, launched this year only a few months ago as well. So, and Priyanka's talking about fairfoodie.com.au.
yeah,
So you were saying you aimed to set up a website. Instead, you've set up your online shop on Fairfoodie, and it's working for you. So that's really, really good to
yeah,
hear.
it is.
And did you find it quite user friendly?
Yeah, fairly. I, I mean, whatever little bit of glitches were there, you guys were there to help me at the back end, but it wasn't so tough. Not, I found it quite okay. Yeah.
That's good. So, yeah, and again, one of our first users, I suppose we kind of worked through a lot of those processes together. So it was really good to get you on board. So for the listeners out there, they should go visit your Instagram account, follow your Instagram.
Yes, please. Yes, it's cocoa.oven, COCOA.OVEN, Cocoa Oven.
And they can shop via
Yeah.
your Fair Foodie online shop.
Yeah,
And
yeah, the link is there in the bio. Sorry.
how else can people support you? You're distributing Australia wide, aren't you?
Sorry, I think it is breaking, Lisa.
Your people can order from your site and all over Australia. You'll distribute all over Australia at the moment, or just in Victoria?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I ship my products Australia wide. I use express delivery, and I get it shipped. Most of my products are shipping friendly. In fact, I have put up only those products which can be shipped on the website.
Mm-hmm.
There are literally just one or two more things which cannot be shipped, and those are available for local delivery in around Mill Park. Yeah, and I have been shipping to a lot of places outside of Melbourne, outside of Victoria as well, to Sydney. I've shipped to regional Victoria, regional New South Wales, and I think the farthest my packages have gone from here is to Gold Coast, to some
Great.
and some outer suburbs in Brisbane as well. So Yeah, I've not yet shipped to Western Australia or Northern Territory. I've not yet reached that far, but New South Wales, Queensland, South Australia, I have shipped all over,
Great.
including regional places. And surprisingly, Australia Post has been doing really well for me because I hear really horror stories about people's shipments since I've been hearing really the scary stories from people, but it's been working for me surprisingly. And I only offer express because it's food, and I know for a fact that if it's not express parcels, they are just taking too much time. But express, mostly, I think most of the times it's getting delivered within 24 hours, and sometimes it takes 2 days or something, which is fine because my products have longer shelf life, so it works well.
Yeah, well, I've tried them. I was curious and I
You
wanted to
have,
taste
yes.
them, and they arrived within 24 hours of me sending them, so they were super fast. I didn't expect them
Yeah,
to
it
be
did
so
for you as
fast.
well, right?
And
Correct. Yeah.
honestly, I bought them for a gift for a friend who I was planning to see about 4 days away. Um, and then they arrived.
Yeah.
They arrived too quickly, so I ate them. My husband and I ate them ourselves, and we loved them. So I can speak with authority that
Oh,
they are really beautiful, and you're a wonderful cook and very inspiring story. Thank you for sharing that with us
oh,
today,
thank you.
and
You're
congratulations on
welcome.
launching your beautiful business. And we are so excited to see where you take it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for the work you guys are doing, Lisa. It's really commendable. I
Oh,
think
thank you.
I, for one, definitely feel really grateful that I met you somehow. Um, I'd love to meet you guys in person one day, but
Yeah.
we'll wait for that. But truly, and I truly mean that I'm really proud to be actually associated with Fair Foodie, and it's impressive the work that you guys are doing, really.
Oh, that's so lovely to hear. Thank you. And I hope that we're making a difference for people out there, and, we're encouraging Australians to support local and buy from the small business owners, and
Exactly.
support the farmers
Yeah.
and producers, and stop buying from the big industrial corporates out there. And
Yeah.
we've got incredible, incredible food around us that we should really be enjoying, and
Absolutely. Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
one of them. So we are really, really grateful to have you on board, and thank you for joining us. You're my first podcast, and
Thank
it's
you.
been a wonderful gift for you. And hopefully the listeners love hearing. I know they will love hearing your story, but I'm hopeful that my podcast will get better and better along the way, I'm sure. But thank you for
I'm
joining us
sure
and
you
being on
will.
board.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
So support Cocoa Oven, and um, all the links will be at the end of this podcast and on shared below. So thank you, Priyanka. Have a lovely rest of the week, and we'll be in touch. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please be sure to like and share it, and smash the subscribe button. And if you are an Australian farmer, producer, or small business owner who would like to have a drink with Lisa, get in touch.